About 18 hours before starting this bread, we need to feed our starter, which is what I'm showing you here, starting in a Levain jar. A scale is very important in my opinion, and I'm sure people have done it without it for thousands of years. I just haven't tried it yet. So my starter is 100% hydration, which means equal parts of flour and water. In this clean jar, I'm starting with 75 grams of starter, 75 mLs of water, and 75 grams of unbleached flour. You can do this with any type of flour. Some people use rye, whole wheat. I just keep mine 100% white flour, and when I want to make a different kind of bread, I will feed it that type of flour for a couple days prior to when I want to make that bread. And I strongly recommend unbleached flour because the bleach in the flour interferes with the development of the starter. Mix the 3 ingredients well until combined and put the lid back loosely and store on your countertop. If you clean the sides of your jar, you'll be able to see clearly how much it grew. I just find it fascinating that microorganisms flying around in my kitchen will later make my bread rise and give it such an amazing aroma. So 6 hours have passed and the sourdough starter is all nice and bubbly. Now it's time to make our Levain. It's a French term. I don't know much French, so we're gonna add sourdough starter, flour, and water in a bowl, cover it up, and then allow it to sit on the counter for about 12 hours. Also added some rye flour. I like the nuttiness that it adds to the bread, so I recommend it. If you don't like it, just add the same amount of white flour. With a dough hook or a spatula or wooden spoon, we're gonna mix all of those ingredients until a shaggy mass forms, and then we're gonna cover it for about 20 to 45 minutes. And this process is called autolyse, just giving all the ingredients some time to chill before we add the salt. Once that autolyse time has passed, we can bring the dough back, add the salt, and make sure it's well incorporated, and get to kneading. Now you can do as I did, knead by hand. And I did that just so I could show you that you don't need a stand mixer, though I most often use that. It gives me 2 free hands so I can do something else. And when you have kids, and there's a lot of stuff to do. Stand mixer is very much appreciated, so I use it as often as I can, but you can totally do this kneading on a surface just like I did in the video. So after we're all done kneading, it's time for the bulk ferment, which is another word for the first ferment. I usually like to leave mine for about 3 to 4 hours. I would say it needs to about double in size. As you can see right here, I am using my bench scraper to create surface tension, which makes the top of the loaf really tight. It's gonna help the bread spring up in the oven. I know you're probably done waiting so long, but these babies need to rest and proof for another 3 to 4 hours, or if it's really warm in your kitchen, it could be less, but they need to double in size. When you have an hour left of proofing, turn the oven on to 460 and also preheat 2 Dutch ovens. If you don't have a blade like this, you can use a serrated knife. Make sure that at least one of the cuts is deep enough that it would allow the bread to spring up so it doesn't crack. Nobody wants that. In the oven they go for 35 minutes with the lid on, then you take the lid off and allow them to bake for an additional 15 to 20 minutes, then remove them and allow them to cool as long as you can, and then slice and enjoy.